Okay, welcome back to the 30-day scripting challenge. It's, I think, day 20 or day 19. I don't remember. It's day 20, the quest system. So I have been thinking before making this video about how I wanted to approach this because it is almost the end of week 3 and we're going to move into week 4, which is advanced systems and actual show pieces. But anyways, right, I wanted to introduce the concept of declarative programming when making the UI, because the setup I made before the video was I simply just made a frame here called the quest frame, which how the UI will look for the quests. But I was thinking of introducing Fusion into this video, but I decided against that because I feel like it would make the video too long. But anyways, the setup I did was I just made a quest frame here where we're going to just add in quests, and here's what it'll look like here. We're going to add the quests in the scrolling frame, and when you click on it, it'll update this UI panel here with everything that we want to happen. So to kick things off, we first want to just code the logic from the ground up. The player clicks on the quest button and this frame opens up. So I'm just going to briefly talk about what Fusion would do. With Fusion, you wouldn't use the pre-made UI here. You would create the UI in code, and you could use a lot of nice functions with it, but I won't talk about that. But anyways, right, in a single script architecture, you would have one local script as the entry point, and that local script would control all of the UI, but the UI would be separated into different module scripts that control different portions, right? So I could have a module script for just the quest frame. I could have it for individual parts of the quest frame. It does matter based on what your goal is for your game structure to be, but I'm gonna have one local script that'll control the UI, and then one module script that'll control the quest frame. So inside of Storage UI, I'm just going to add a local script here, and it's simply just going to be called our quest controller. Or actually, I'll just call it UI controller. And then under it, I'm going to make a module script, and I will call the module script the quest controller. And in a quest controller, this is where we're going to handle all of the logic. So if you were using something like Fusion or React, you would create your UI right here in an initialization portion. But in this case, because I'm not doing that, we're using instance-based UI because the UI is already here. I think it's called instance-based. I don't remember. We're just going to declare our UI right here. But anyways, let's go on ahead and get the UI that we want to use. So the quest frame itself, right? But we're just going to grab that, say local quest frame is going to equal to, and then the script.parent dot main UI dot quest frame. And in this quest frame, we can access a lot of things. So here, I'm going to want to make actually, I'm going to rename this quest UI controller, not the actual quest controller. Now, in our thing, right, we're going to want to have it do a ton of functions that our client entry point can do, right? Now, we're going to want to make an initialization function for our UI. So we could say quest UI controller dot init, or actually function with the actual function declaration. And inside of it, we're just going to want to perform the setup for the UI. So every time a player joins, this will run, right? In this case, in that init, we want to get the data of our player and populate the UI with the player's data. So that's literally all of that stuff that'll happen in our initialization function here. So we can leave a comment saying populate the UI with the player's data, right? Now first, we actually need to code the server to actually get the player's data, or we'll create the player's data as well, right? But the first thing we actually can do here is we can set up the function to open up the UI. So we can just say quest frame open activated connect function, and then we'll say quest frame main visible will equal to the opposite of what it is right now. And that's what we have in our notion. So we'll test it out here. And I didn't require it. You need to actually require it first. And then run the init. Whoops. So in our UI controller, we would just grab the quest UI controller and quest UI controller dot init. Just like that. That's how it would look like. And you don't even just say start UI controller. You could just say self or script dot quest UI controller. But we will use starter UI here anyways. So I can now open up the quest frames here very easily with an open and close button. Alright, moving on, let's start a bit on the server end here. Now, another thing I want to talk about with the SSA, single script architecture, is you wouldn't keep everything in one area in replicated storage. You wouldn't do that. And by that, I mean you wouldn't need a attribute called run context, which I had somewhere here, right? Only in shared would you put the services that you want both the client and server to access. If you had server only services, then you would keep them in server script service. And that's something I want to emphasize that I didn't do in the framework video. Now, moving on, we're just going to make a service here, and I'm going to call it quest service here. Okay, I'm just going to make one for telling it that the server has to run it, which once again, you wouldn't want to do that. Now in quest service, we just want to check when the player has joined, and then when the player does join, we're just gonna like set up the data for them. So in our colon start here, which is when we start the process of quest service, and actually, as a matter of fact, we need to create a remote event that we're gonna use to like send data between the client. So we would have a remote function that the client will use to retrieve the data from the server. So we'll say local send or local get data will equal to instance.name, and then we'll say remote function, and then get data.name will equal to get data, and then get data.parent will equal to script parent.remotes. And you would also separate this by remote functions, remote events, bindables, and bindable functions too. In our init, we could connect any listeners here, but not listeners, any signals, but we're not really gonna need to do that. But I guess we probably could. Init is basically that'll be called one time before, it'll be called once before the game like fully starts running. It's the setup thing that we want to use. So in init we could connect listeners, but you'd probably want to create everything like you would run get data or anything, but it's not something I'd use. You could just put like a print saying quest service initialized, whatever. Anyways, in our start, we're just gonna connect our core loops here. So we just want to get when the players what is wrong with me, bro? When a player joins. So players dot player added connect function, the player that joins, and in here we're gonna want to run our setup data thing. So inside of our quest service, we say quest service player will equal to itself, or in this case we would also get the player's data from the profile module. So as a matter of fact, I could grab the profile module right now, and I would say profile module dot get profile player dot data, and then we're gonna make one for like quest, right? So let's go over to the profile module, and let's make a new category, and let's call it quest, and that's going to equal to a table where we're gonna store all the players' quest data right there, right? Dot data dot get profile. Well, I need to get the player data first. So local profile equal to profile module dot get profile player. Check if profile, then make a control data, not control. So we'll say data will equal to nil. Then data will equal to profile dot data dot quests. Wait, what did I call it again? How did I already forget? I called it quests dot quest, right? And here we would say or data, but in this case data is nil, and I'll move on to an empty table. And inside this empty table, we could put in all of the data we want to store for our quests. So things such as the quest the player currently has active, the quest the player can do, and the quest the player has completed. Or actually, we could just store all the quests inside the player and determine if the quest is, or we could like random thumping on the top of my ceiling. Like, it's a bird up there. It's a very loud bird, whatever. I'm distracted here. Some loud thumping. If the mic doesn't pick that up, that's crazy. It's got good noise canceling or whatever. Noise canceling. And then, or an empty table, and in this empty table we'd store every single quest in the game, and if the player has accepted it or not, or whatever. As a matter of fact here, let's go on ahead and work on the actual quest database here. So we could just call you quest database, And in here, we'll store all of our quests and also make a function. And in here, we're gonna copy over everything. So, because we're gonna want to individually give all the quests to all the player. But anyways, right? We're gonna make, because there's not a lot of like quest stuff in the test place. So it's just gonna be like a visual quest or whatever for like players to like jump whatever. So I could make a quest that tells the player that they have to jump a total of 10 times. So like jump 10, right? That's gonna be one of the quests that we want. That'll tell the player to jump 10 times. So the name will equal to jump 10. Our description will equal to jump a total 10 times. We could provide an image, I guess, that we want, because I have an image thing for our UI, so I'll just grab an image for that real quickly. Oh, okay, there we go. And that is the text ID. What is going on with my thing? There we go. And that'll be for updating our UI. We can also provide the tasks of the quest here. So I could just say tasks, and I'll equal a table, and in each, like inside the task table, we could have the actual task itself. So in this case, we want to have a key that says jump. So we'll just give it a key. So task will have jump will equal to a table where we have the current amount. So there'll be the current will equal to 0, and the goal will equal 10. So inside, when they want to update the task, they look for each key inside. If the key is equal to jump, then we're going to increase .current by +1. If it's something like kill, we're going to, so if I made an example in here, I would say like kill, and then inside kill, they would look for the target. I'd say I make a variable called target, and then it would be like Mega Knight. I hate Mega Knight. It would be a Mega Knight, and then the current Knight skill would be 0, and the goal would be 1, because you want to kill. You want to kill one Mega Knight, right? Or actually, 100 million. I hate Mega Knight. Kill all of them. Or let's say you wanted to like collect an item. So you could say collect would be one of the tags, and the item to collect, so the target would be blueberry. Actually, no, pancake. The target would be a pancake, right? And actually, you could make a module script that would store like objects. So you could like reference it directly from that object module script that have all the object data, and that way it would match it a little easier or whatever. But target's pancakes, you'd put a current and a goal, right? But if it's just like something like jumping or whatever, then you won't really need to provide a target unless you want to. But anyways, that is the jump. And now if it's also something like visiting a place, you could just like have the goal be a boolean. So like visited will equal to whatever. But anyways, that'll be for the tasks that we want. And now let's also make a rewards table, so that way our player can get rewarded. Now, in this case, there's only 2 things I can reward to the player, and that's gems and XP, because that's the only like actual currency related things that I have enabled in this game here. So I could just say gems would equal 10, XP would equal 50. And that's how many rewards you would get. You would include anything. Now, if you wanted to give like special quest locked items, you can make a table called items. And in here, you can include every single item. So item 1, item 2, item 3, whatever, right? This would be every single item you want the quest to give you. So let's say you had a quest that said, collect this sword from that guy over there. And then the rewards would be that sword you collected. You could include that in the rewards table in the items category. And lastly, I think we'll have a requirements thing here. So I'll just make another value called requirements. And in here, you would include what you would need. So in this case, you would want like prerequisites. And that would be a table where you'd have to include all of the other quests. So in this case, to unlock jump 10, you'd have to include jump 9. And the program would check if the player has completed jump 9 or not. But I don't have any like other prerequisite quests, but that's how you would make prerequisites. Anyways, I think for the requirements, we would just want XP to be, they have to have a minimum of 100 XP to do the quest. And as a matter of fact here, I think in our profile module, the default XP is 250. So the player should be able to do this quests here properly. And you can separate it here, but that's probably the startup we'd want for the quest database. And then also, right, I keep forgetting, we need to have our control things. So for the player, we'd want to know if it's active. So I'll just make a thing here called quest status, and you could make it to a table where we would have active will equal to false, available will equal to false, and completed will equal to false, right? Or you could just make it equal to a string or custom value, whatever would be easy to incorporate in your game. I think maybe an easy way to do it would just be have it equal to a string. So quest status will equal to a string, and in this case it'll be maybe like available, right? Or no, actually I think the other one would be better to use, because then we'd have to make 4 different string types. From here we could just have 3, because if all of these are false, that means the player simply cannot do the quest, right? It just won't appear to them. Now anyways, for the quest database.copy, it's just going to return a table here, because we're just going to clone all of this and add it to the player's data. So we want the player data first here. So when we run our quest service dot thing here, inside this table, we're just going to run the copy. So I'll just grab the quest database here. And in this, I would just simply say, I don't even need to put it inside the table. I'll just say quest database dot copy. And I won't even need to put in the player data, because it's just going to return all the quests copied over. And we could have different, we could have different, have it either check to update all this based on the player data or whatever. But we're simply just going to loop through everything in quest database and copy it over to the new table. So I'm going to go local copy will equal to a table, and loop through the quest database, and we could either have it be ordered or random. Doesn't matter, because we're not going to access them in an ordered way. We're just going to directly search for it. So we'll say for underscore quest in quest database do, we're going to set copy table dot insert copy request, and then we're going to return the copy. All right, so yeah, we're literally just going to copy everything inside the quest database, and we're going to add it to the player right? And I'm just going to include these 3. I had to go to the bathroom, that's why I kind of lost my train of thought, but I should be fine. So anyways, if they already have data, it'll be equal to that, or it'll be equal to the profile data if this doesn't exist, or it'll be copying the quest database over if that does not exist either. Okay, so now that we have the player's data set up here, we can run the player leaving here as well. No, actually, I'll do that in a different script. So now that we have our thing, we can listen for when the client wants to request the data. So we could say get data dot on server invoke will equal to a function where we're just going to return the player's data. To return. Actually, they pass in the player as well. I forgot about that. We're going to return the quest service player. Now, one slight layer of security that I could imagine being added here is only sending over the available quests and the current quests, and not the, or actually never mind, I'm stupid. That was for a different thing. So we're going to return the player's data here when they request it. So now we can go over to back to our UI here, and we're going to want to have in our default startup, we want to populate the UI here. So first going to grab the remote function. So we'll say local get data will equal to get replicated storage up here. Or actually, I'll just define it up here instead. Say local get data will equal to replicate storage dot shared dot remotes await for child get date. So that's a different remote function. And I'll have it time out after 10 seconds in case something goes wrong with the module script stuff. So in this case, it is a remote function. We're just going to grab the data. So we'll say local data will equal to get data colon invoke server. And we'll pass in the local player. So when we run init, we're just going to have them pass in the player. Here. Or you could just get the player from this thing itself, but we'll just not. So we'll pass the player in there, and inside of here, it's going to now get the data. Now what we're going to do is we're going to want to, let me go open up the UI here so you can get another look at it. We're going to clone this template object here, and we're going to parent it to be inside of this scrolling frame here. And this template button will be the button that'll open up the quest. So we're going to loop through the data. So if data, then for underscore quest in the data do. And we're going to get the quest status. So we're going to loop through all of these, and we're going to find if their quest status is equal to available or active, right? Because if it's completed, you could show completed quests, or you could not. I just won't show completed quests. We're only going to show active and available quests, right? So if quest dot status dot available or quest dot status active, then so if it's active or if it's available. If that's the case, we're then going to now clone the template. So we'll say local clone will equal to the main dot, sorry, I didn't even get main. Let's identify the main here. Local clone will equal to main dot template colon clone. And we're going to update all of its details, right? So we're first going to set the text to equal to the quest name, and then we could also include the level requirement to show how much XP you need to do the quest, like the required XP to take the quest. But also, we could only show quests that the player actually can reach, right? So we're gonna probably get a function to request the player's data as well. Or skip all of that and only return what quest the player actually can take. So we're gonna make a table here. And inside this table, we're going to find all quests that the player can complete. So for underscore quest in the quest service player do, we're going to check if quest dot, and actually there's only one requirement, which is XP, but if you want prerequisites too, you would loop through, but I'll just show you how you do that. We're going to loop through all the quests, we're going to loop through all the requirements. So for underscore requirement in quest dot requirements do, we're going to check if the player matches those requirements. So we're going to check, in this case, if the requirement's XP, we're going to check if the player's XP matches it. We're just going to go ahead and grab the data here, put that below here, and we're going to place all of this inside of the if profile check. We're going to now check for if the requirement is, if they find the requirement inside the player data and it matches or whatever, right? If it meets the requirement. So if profile dot data and we find the requirement, in this case XP is equal to 100, if we find the requirement, or actually not the requirement, what am I doing, the key. For key requirement, if it finds the key and the profile.data key is greater than or equal to the requirement, then now if it's a prerequisite, like you have to have a certain quest completed before, then you would need to check if you should add a table called prerequisites. So I'll do that right now in quest database. For our requirements, we'll have x will equal to 100, and we'll have prerequisites will equal to a table, and it'll be empty, right? So I would put an if statement here that would check if the type requirement is equal to a, well, what is going on here? If the type of requirement is equal to a table, I think it's table, right? Then it'll mean that it is a prerequisites thing, right? And you can have any type of thing you want here to show that if it's an item that you want to collect or whatever, anything prerequisites would go in there. So if the type requirement is equal to a wait, how do you even do type? I don't remember. I don't even remember. Or whatever. You can just check if the key is equal to prerequisites then. If key is not equal to prerequisites, then we'll do this here. Okay, so in this case, it's going to check if it meets the requirement or not. And then if it does, we're going to insert the quest into can send. And we'll return the can send here. In this case, the program is going to return nothing. Show that we're going to return an empty table to show the player doesn't have any data. So now back here in our UI controller, it does the requirement checking for us, so we will need to include the requirement ourselves. We'll set the text of the clone to be the quest.name as shown here. So that means the parent to be the main.quests, capital M to the main.quest, and then we'll let site to be visible. So clone.visible will equal to true. And we'll also connect the listener to it. So we'll say clone.activated connect to function, and we'll say start the quest here. So anyways, the UI controller is now running in it. Let's join and test running errors. Okay, so already we're getting a couple issues. Player profile is not a number of players. Oh, okay, I think I should wait a little bit before we get the players data. So I'm just gonna run a task.defer here, and then we're gonna put this in here. And I'll put the exact same thing right here. Or actually, I think by now the player profile will have been added, so the defer there. Okay, so it's still not working. Oh, the issue is I'm supposed to use get profile, not a .get profile. That's the issue. Okay, yeah. Whoops. I could delete the task.defer here. That should fix it. Like completely here. Alright, let's go give it a try here. So I'll open up the UI and it's not doing anything. Awesome. Let's check if our data is existing first. So here we go. We have our table here called quests, but it is indeed empty because I'm not saving it. But let's print out our data and see what that's returning for us here. It is returning an empty table, so that means there's an issue here. So let's print at the start here the quest service player and see what that returns for us. So it's not returning anything actually. So let's put it up here then. Alright, quest service 31. Here we go. We have two things. We have a function, which I don't know how there's a function inside the player. We didn't add that. And then we have our quest, which has a description, image, the name, the quest status, the requirements, the rewards, and the tasks. So it is just capital E and then XP, which is what I did call this. I'll just delete the prerequisites then. I'm not even using it right now, but let's delete all that here and see if it works. Let me actually check if it added it to my UI anyways. So in player GUI, in our quest frame, it did not clone the template. So that means that this is not getting any data at all. Yeah, the profile doesn't exist. But when we run it on this profile module script, it does exist. So that's interesting. Let me run print profile here and see if it changed anything. Yeah, so on player added, it's nil. And then after the call from profile store is enabled, it's still nil. Okay. I think maybe the profile just might not be loading in time. So what if I just put like a task.wait, or I might just use the task.defer here, honestly. And I'll bring this over to the next one here and see if that works. No, it's still not doing anything. So we'll keep that print data statement here. Yeah, so task.defer is not working here either. It's interesting. I'll just put let's have a wait 1 second. Still returns nothing. I'll actually make this invisible for now, actually. Yeah, still returning nothing. So let's go back to the quest service here and, I don't know. Let's have to wait 5 seconds before loading the profile. Yeah, still nothing. Though when I disconnect the profile, it still exists. I'm going to put a print profile here one more time just to see what's going on. Yeah. So it looks like it's being initialized quicker here. I'm just gonna see what it actually looks like when I just wait. I'll wait 5 seconds before calling it. And I'll do the same thing here. Wait 5 seconds before calling it on both ends to see what it's going to look like now. Okay, so on the server, we get quest service 21, right? That's what we're looking at here. And we've got our data, but our quests thing is empty. It's not non-existent, which is good. That's what we want, right? But now our issue is that if I print the quest service player here, oh, I see. The issue is it's in the database. If it's not a function, that's what the issue was. So if the type of quest is equal to table with a lowercase t, by the way. So if it's not a function, then we'll put you in right there. Perfect. So now there shouldn't be a table. Let me go back to quest service here, and on the on-server invoke line 34, it is supposed to print it after 5. So let's delete this 5 seconds here, and let me change you to a task.wait 1. So line 33, it prints out nil. Line 12, it prints out nothing. But then on line 21, in our start, it prints out the data. Huh. Just delete the colon in it because I don't need in it anything here. Yeah, line 17, line 12, and line 29. Same issues here. So now I'm going to print out the quest service player here after we update. So print the quest service player here instead of when the thing calls it. So line 31, nil, line 12, nil, line 17, it's the profile. But then line 26, it's also empty here. Okay, I'm just gonna loop through. I'm just gonna repeatedly loop through until we can get the data here. And then also, I think I did the copying portion wrong here. We gotta actually like deep copy it too. This is turning it into an array, which I've realized here. So we need to make a deep copy. I'm just gonna delete all of this here. Right, we need to make a function to, what's it called? To deep copy. So I'll just make a function inside of this called like deep copy, and we want the like original portion inside of our quest database to deep copy. So we'll say local new, make a control table here. Why does it say new plus table? I need it to be equal to, what the heck? Okay, and then we're going to loop through. So for view in origin through if the type of view is equal to a table. I'm gonna make the rest of the culture. So that's for deep copying. Now we're just gonna make one for regular copying. So for the name and quest in our quest database, we'll check if the type of the quest is equal to a table. Then we're going to set the copy name will equal to the deep copy. Pass the quest in, and then here we're going to return not the quest type, the copy. Okay, now hopefully that will fix it here. Alright, that indeed did not fix it. Okay, so I added a check to make sure that table is empty, and now we have our jump 10 quest. That works here. Okay, perfect. But now another issue here is that this is printing too quickly, so I need to have this just wait. Have it wait 2 seconds, then it'll init properly. Okay, now we have an error. That's a good sign. So it's not available. Okay, perfect. So here we have the quest, and then on 37, this is how the player is receiving it. Has the jump 10 quest, same thing. Now on the UI, it's returning it as 1. Oh, it's the same issue here. Okay. Cancel needs to be a dictionary. There, it needs to be initial. Wait, there was an error there. What? There wasn't an error there, whatever. I'm tripping. Okay, now it should print as a dictionary. Okay, here we go. So jump 10 is equal to this. It's an index. So we have our quest. It's quest status, not status alone. I'm just gonna rename this to status, honestly. I don't like the name. All right, one more time. 9, 8. Okay, here we go. And there's no error. So here we have jump 10, our status. And yeah, so now if I were to open quest, it'd still be empty because we don't have the logic like properly initialized yet. So just for testing purposes right now, we're going to set available here to equal to true, just so that we can test it out. So I click on quests. Here we go. We have the jump 10 quest, which has appeared. And if I open and close it, it's not going to duplicate it multiple times, which is a good thing. So we actually now need to make a way to set available quests and all that. So check if players are able to take a quest or not. So I'm going to actually I'm going to set the available here to equal to false. I'm going to make a function that will loop through all the players basically, and it will check. So I'll just say function, and we'll say quest service update quests availability, and then I want to send in the player here. So I'm first going to actually grab their profile to check their stats, and I'm going to keep comparing all their stats to the quest availabilities. I'm just grab the quest here, so local quest will equal to the quest service player here, and I'm going to loop through. Actually, I need to check if quests exist as well, so I'll put this at the top right here. Loop through all the quests, so for underscore quest in our quests to do, we're going to get local met requirements. We're gonna have that equal to true, and we're gonna have it to false by the end of whatever loop we're going to do. And actually, I'm just gonna, so for our requirement key and then the requirement value in the quest dot requirements, we're going to get the player value. So local player val will equal to the profile dot data, and then we're going to look for the requirement key here. If not the player val, or the player value is not greater than, if it's less than the required value, then the requirement value, we're going to set requirements or met requirements. Met requirements will equal to false, and we're just going to break it here. If they don't meet 1, they don't meet any. Well, I mean, if they don't meet 1, they can't take the quest here. And then we're going to set the quest status, or, well, no, it's just status. Quest.status dot available will equal to met requirements. And this is just going to check if the player can accept a new quest. So every time an action is completed, we're going to run update quest availability, and then also the get data thing. So when the player opens the UI, we're actually going to run the update quest availability when this on get data on server invoke is ran. So we're going to run, also this I'm going to delete now. I'll just put right here, we'll say quest service : update quest availability, and then the player. So when the thing happens, we're just going to run data will equal to get data : invoke server player. You don't have to have equal because we're not using data here. This will just be to update the status of our quest, right? Now when the clone's activated, we want to, and actually I'm gonna make a function called update list. So function update quest list. Wait, what is a quest UI controller : update list, and in here I want this to run on the init here, so I'll actually have it pass in the data. I think that should be fine, and if their data exists, we're just gonna move this loop in here, and I'm going to say quest UI controller, or I'll say self, honestly, for this thing, self : never mind, pass in that data value here. Actually, what I will do is I'm first going to clear all the children first. So for underscore child in main.quest : get children do, if the child : is a text button, then we'll say child : destroy, and then we're going to repopulate it with the new things here where we can connect the listener here. So start at our initialization, we're gonna put data in, and every time it's opened and closed, we're also going to we're gonna update it every time it's opened and closed. Now when a button is activated, we're not gonna open a new panel, we're just gonna populate the pre-existing panel on the side with all the information. So we'll actually get the variables that we need for our side panel here, all the things that we want to update. So we'll simply say local abort will equal to the main dot abort, and then we'll say local accept will equal to main dot accept. We're also going to grab the rewards frame, I guess, main dot rewards, because those are what we're going to update. So local rewards will equal to main dot rewards, local details will equal to main dot details, then local action. So actually I don't even need to use actions, because we're only going to use that to store in our accept and abort button. So there we go. Now when it's activated, we're gonna basically do all the things. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set the description of the text. So we'll say details.description.text will equal to the quest.description. Because we have a description thing here, that's what the text of our description will be. Then we're going to set the, what other things actually do we need to set in our details? So we have the progress, that's right. Inside progress, we're going to insert little text labels to insert text labels to show the progress of our quest. And we're just the image. So apparently I actually don't have an image the image element, so we're just going to delete this. Who needs an image, am I right? Not me. So let's actually go on ahead and just test it out right now here to check if everything will work properly. So I'll open this, and this works fine. Now if I click on the thing, it should update the description. Perfect. Now we'll update the rest of the stuff, like the abort and accept buttons. So to check if the user is allowed to abort the quest, we're gonna check if the quest has already been accepted or not. So we'll look inside the status here. So if not quest dot status dot available, then what am I doing? We need to check if the quest is active. So if quest dot status dot active, then so we're gonna look in here for the active. If it is active, then we're gonna add the abort button in. So we're just gonna check if not action. We're actually gonna check if the abort button exists already. So if main dot actions, what am I doing? If the accept button is there, then we're gonna remove it. Then we'll say accept dot parent, or we're gonna just set the parent regardless of if it's already in there or not. Abort dot parent will equal to main dot actions, accept dot parent will equal to the main, and we'll say abort dot visible will equal to true, accept dot visible will equal to false. So else if quest dot status dot available, then we're just gonna copy the exact same stuff but switch it around. So you'll be accept, and you'll be abort, you'll be accept, and you'll be abort. So let's go try it out one more time here. Open this, click on it, it'll have the accept button added right there, because in this case we have not accepted the quest yet. Now we can add in the tasks. So we'll loop through, and actually we'll just make a function here to update the panel. I'll just say function update info. If I keep adding quest UI controller dot update info, and in the dot activated, I'm just gonna put this here. I pass the quest in right there. Wait, no, not there. Update update info, and we're also gonna make a global variable called current quest as well. So we'll say local current quest will equal to a empty table, or it'll be a dictionary in this case. I'm gonna pass the current quest in actually. Or as a matter of fact, I'm just not gonna have this in at all here, and I'm just gonna use local quest will equal to the current quest, just like that. So now if the server wants to update the info, or anytime something like that happens, we'll just have the current quest variable already be stored here. Anyways, we actually now have to add in our tasks. So we're gonna loop through all of the task thing here, I'm just going to create one where it'll be this over the current over goal, right? And you can add special cases too if it's like kill 5 zombies or whatever, right? So for underscore task in quest dot tasks do, we're gonna check if it's a jump task, by the way. So I'm gonna put the key here. If key is equal to jump, then in this case our key is indeed jump. We're going to actually make it instantly. Local label will equal to instance dot new, and then put in our text label for size. I actually don't know. Label dot size will equal to udim2 dot from scale 1 and 0.1. Hopefully that looks good. If it doesn't, I don't know. And then we're gonna say label dot parent. We'll do parent. The text will equal to, and then the text, I keep saying it man so much, I hate it, I want to get rid of it. The text will be equal to the key with a colon, and as well as the goal over total. So we'll determine the text portion here. So if the key is equal to jump, then the label.text will equal to the key with a colon with a space. Actually, I'll just put the space here. It'll say the total task total, I think. That's not current over the task level. I'm just gonna change it. Goal task, that's what it's gonna be called. Yep, goal task. Goal task dot keep forgetting my variables. Dot current over the goal. Goal task dot goal. So it'll be this over that jump. So jump colon current over goal. Just like that. Okay, let's go test that out here. Open this up. Click it. That's not right. Okay, it's not activating. I didn't run the update. I deleted the thing. Colon update info. What am I doing? Okay, so I'll wait 2 seconds so the thing will load properly. Open this up. It has a jump 10. Click it, and it is. I didn't make it visible, I don't think. Okay, label dot. Actually, we'll do the parenting right here, I guess. Doesn't matter. Label dot parent will equal to details dot progress. Perfect. And then we'll need to clear it out later too. Okay, jump 10 times. Perfect. We first gotta loop through details as well. So for underscore prev in the details dot progress do if prev colon is a text label, then prev colon destroy. Alright, so that should now hopefully clean up. Okay, I need to run get children because that is a thing I need to do. Forgot about that. Colon get children. Perfect. Now it should be able to. Forgot about that. It should not spam the things anymore. Alright, we can now update the rewards for how it should look. That is the next thing we need to do. So we'll go and say rewards.plabel will equal to the quest.rewards.xp, and then we'll say the rewards.gems label will equal to quest.rewards.gems. Now if you had other things in there, I would just probably replace the rewards thing with the UI list layout and insert a new element for each reward item. In this case, I literally have no items to put out. I'm just gonna give it these 2 hard-coded labels, but it'd be really easy. You just replace it with the UI list layout, and you would copy this exact thing here, but instead of it being the goal, you would just have it be an image label of the item you want to give as an reward. Alright, now the thing should update properly for the rewards. So I click this, and that is an issue. UI controller 87 rewards.xp label. Oh, I'm pretty sure xp label exists. Oh, what am I doing? Dot text. It needs to be concatenation gems. Wait, no, not gems. XP. What am I doing? Just like that. So now that should work pretty good there. I'll open this up and it'll say gems 10 XP 50, and that works fine. And I'll do it for all other quests too. Now let's make the accept and abort buttons work, which we can do just by having it be placed in a listener. We'll probably just do it in the update info thing. Abort activated connect function, and then we'll say accept activated connect function. And then here we would just tell the server to accept or abort an request. So let's actually make another remote here. So we'll say local update quest will equal to instance dot new remote event, and then update quest dot name will equal to update quest, and then update quest dot parent will equal to the script dot parent dot parent dot remotes. Back up here in our quest UI controller where it waits for child to get data. Now we'll have one for update quest. Do the same exact thing here, but it's not a remote function, it's a remote event. And back down here I would say update quest fire server, and I'd pass in abort and the current quest. Then in this case I do the exact opposite, update quests fire server accept and the current quest that I want to accept. Back over to quest service here where we have our listeners for get data and all that. We'll connect our listeners for the update quest. Update quest on server event connect function, the player, the event we want to use, which in this case has to be a string, as well as the quest, which is a table. So I'll just add my type checking here. We'll call a function based on whatever it is. So let's make a function for accepting a request and aborting a request. Or actually, we don't even need to. We'll just do it all right here. We don't need one for individually aborting and all that. So if our event is equal to abort, then we're going to go into the player's data and we're going to remove the quest from their available quest, right? So quest service player quest dot status dot active will equal to false, and the other thing here dot available will equal to true. Else if the event is equal to accept, then we're gonna copy this but flip it around. Now one other thing we need to do here is the player can just call this without even having the quest unlocked, right? If they know what the quest is, they don't need to have the requirements for it. So what we need to do is we need to do a requirement check here. So what we're going to do is a simple way that I'd see this actually is we can just say update quest avail. Oh yeah, I need to do quest service update quest availability for the player, and then after that we're going to check if they have the availability. So we're going to check first if quest service, wait, no, not both lines, we're trying to get this one. If quest service dot available, then we're going to run this because that means that it's verified already that it can work. All right, perfect. Now we can also send a remote event back to the client telling them to update the UI. So anytime they receive a remote event to update, no, that's what's wrong. Every time they receive a remote event to update the UI, we could just have them run the update quest this function here. So what I can do is I'll make another remote event in our quest service here, and this will just be called update. Actually, I'll call this one get quest as a matter of fact. No, I'm going to stay with update quest. This one will be called update UI. I'll do the same exact thing here. Go to our quest UI controller like this. Clone U one more time, but your local update UI. Update UI. Perfect. Wait, do I already have a remote event for updating the UI? I do. Update quest UI. Let's do that. Update the quest UI. And we're going to call that in the update quest availability because that's what's going to determine what quests are available. So at the end of this, I'm just going to say quests, update quest UI, fire client, and that player specifically. So make sure it is a remote event. Okay, all good. So now let's go and check, make sure all this is working. Okay, well this isn't working. Oh, it's a wait for child issue. Update quest UI. Yeah, see, so if I start it and it doesn't end up working, because you see here how we're not getting this, it's going to give a timeout here because, okay, so now it's will work, and I can open this, and I can accept the quest. But nothing visually happens once the player's quest has been accepted. Okay, attempt to index nil with fire server. Yeah, something's wrong with the remote event. Instance.new remote update. That's the issue. Update quest UI. I didn't do that properly. There we go. So now I can do this, and I can click accept. And that's another error that will give me. Attempt to index nil with status. Okay. Line 71 here. Let's see. So if quest service player and... Alright, let's try that. I will check to make sure that it exists. Attempt to index nil with status. Okay, so quest doesn't exist, I guess? Status does exist of the quest. Okay. Maybe they're not sending over the quests. So we're sending the key and then current quest, which we're updating every time. So what if I just send in the quest value instead? I know it might not change anything, but we're calling quest in data. Data is being called from source. So let's try that way. Yeah, still attempting to index nil with status. I don't know what that does. Bug is. Heck, did not mean to undo all that. I'm gonna print actually the quest here and see what it's sending to us. Let's take a look. So attempt to index nil with status. So this is the quest, but it's not the key. It's only the value that it's providing. So it's not actually, yeah, I see the issue now. Never mind. Alright, so what actually is it returning? What is get data returning? It's doing that, right? So if I print out, well, I think the client's already doing that at line 20. Line 20. Right, they're printing out the data, and it has all of this, right? So I just want to keep this here, which I am doing. So for I quest in data, should I do current quest is equal to I, and then I do it like this? Well, then it's only gonna give me the key. I need to store both the key and thing. Oh, it's a what am I doing? Current quest I is equal to quest. There we go. That should do it. Well, no, then there's gonna be multiple current quests. So let's say current quest key instead, right? And then we'll set this to be like an empty string, and then we'll say local quest data. Or I'll just say local data is equal to that table, and then I'll change this to be data is equal to that, and then here we'll say current quest will equal to the key here, so that way the quest will equal to the data the data of current quest. So now here I can just send in the current quest, and back on quest service it'll now look at it as an index. Okay, let's try that. This works. Perfect. As a matter of fact, we'll just run update quest UI fire client one more time here, so that way it should, if the quest was accepted, it should replace with the abort button. So okay, it's not doing that, which means that the checking here is when it's accept, it's updating the quest availability, and if it is available, it means the player can do it, right? So print accepted quests. So let's see. Yeah, they can take the quest, right? So when I run update quest UI, oh, it doesn't do anything. That's right, because I didn't program the remote event. I need to go to my UI controller here and run the update quest list here. So I'm gonna grab replicated storage, say local update quest UI is equal to replicated storage dot share dot remotes wait for child update quest UI. Say take quest UI. I'll give you the remote event thing here. On client event connect function, and here we're just going to say quest UI controller update quest list. Perfect. All right, now we have another error. Awesome. Attempt to iterate over a nil value. Oh, that's right. We gotta send the quest data over. So in quest service, for everyone fire client, we want to pass the data in as well. So I'll send in quest service player. Take quest UI. We're just gonna send the same exact thing. Quest service player. And still iterating over a nil value in data. And I'm like stupid. And put that in there. So now it'll work. I sent the data, but it wasn't receiving the data. So now if I do this, click on here and I click accept, it should add the abort button, which it's not doing apparently, because it's saying it accepted the quest. So let's close out of it. Okay, now it only does it when I click on the button itself. So let's change that. So when we run update quest list, we only update the info. So I'll actually just copy this down one more, and I'll say update info, but we don't even need the data because it runs off of current quest. And if that runs first, it'll update the current quest for us. Let's have to index nil with description. Actually, let me do something else. In the update quest list here, we're just gonna check if there is a current quest. So if current quests, then we're going to run quest UI controller update info, regardless of if the button has been quest. If the current quest does exist, then it'll run it. So let's check for any errors. This looks good. Click on you, can accept it, and it's still not updating the button. So we're calling update quest list, and at the end it's checking if there's a current quest, right? So what if we move this and we bump it to the top right here? Let's just bump it to the very top and see if that'll give it more of an action. So do this, click accept, and it is still not changing it to the abort button until after I've actually reset the UI. Oh, that's why, because we're not setting the new data. We're still using the old data, that's why. So I have to have one for updating the data specifically. So when we return the data here, it's a table filled with all the quests, right? So we need to match it right here in update list. This can go to the bottom, it doesn't matter, but we need to now match it to update current quest to be with what the data is. So if the keys are the same, we'll just have it update the data. So if it's equal to ident, we're gonna set and replace all these. I'm changing the variables up a little bit. Set stored data equal to the data here, and then for gross and data, not seeing anything else being used here. Okay, let's try that out now. So it should match it based on when we click it. So I do this, click accept. It's still not updating the abort button for me, and I can keep like opening and closing it and spamming it or whatever, and it's not going to clone it multiple times, but it's not updating it to the abort button until after I close out of the frame. So maybe it's when it's being called, I guess. So when we run accept, we set it equal to true. Run update quest UI. My variables are wrong. What was I doing? Quest controller 70. Current quest key. Store data. Okay, so now everything should use the variable scheme. Okay, still nil. And I'll just maybe delete this line too, I guess. If current quest key. Okay, let's try that with an if statement there. No error, this works. There we go. Now it updated. Awesome. So we're not gonna update the progress bar here for our quest. So to do that, I'm just gonna go over to just a random server script here. I'm just gonna make I'm gonna make a script here, and this will be for when the player jumps. So let's grab the quest service here. Say game.players.player added connect function player, right? Local character is equal to player. My local character is equal to player wait, what? And we're gonna get their humanoid, so local humanoid is equal to player character find first child of class, and then the humanoid, right? Anyways, here's how I would do this, right? When we have our tasks, we have a key assigned to it, like jump. So I can simply tell quest service to loop through all their quests and update any quest that's currently active that has a key called jump in it. So let's actually go make a function for that right now. So I will say function quest service update keys as well as our key, which should be a string, right? I'm going to loop through every single quest in quest service player. So if quest service player and the number, actually whatever, it doesn't matter. Then loops for key in, actually doesn't matter, we don't need the key. For underscore quest in quest service player we're gonna check now. We're gonna check for the tasks, right? And we're gonna check all the tasks. We're gonna loop through all the tasks. So for underscore task in quest.tasks actually we do need the key for that one. So for I task in quest.task we're gonna check if I is equal to the key, then I loop through all the tasks and we're gonna check if this is equal to the key. Then we're gonna say task dot, what was it called? Task.current will plus equal 1. Or whatever. You can make a variable called amount based on whatever request it is or whatever, right? If it's a collected, so if it's a boolean, you just put all your checks here. So we're going to loop through all the quests. We're going to loop through all the tasks. And if the key of that task is equal to the key we provided, we're going to increase the current. Actually, I should probably change this to toTask, because that's what I did in the previous one. All right, now we're just going to check when the player has jumped. But before we do that, when we run our update keys, we're simply going to follow with the update quest UI function at the end here. So now back here, we're simply just going to check. So humanoid.state changed, connect function, the old state as well as the new state, but we only need the new state, right? If the new state is equal to enum.humanoid state type jumping, then we're going to say quest service colon, what's the name? It was update keys, right? Colon update keys. We're going to pass in the player, and our key is jump right here because that is the name of the task. So jump means the player has jumped once. And that should be it. No, actually, we need to check if it's accepted in order to actually increment the value. Sorry. So in our quests, the UI controller, we only want to update the data if it's accepted or not. So we're going to check if quest.status.active, then. So we're only going to update it if it's active. So if I go over to my quests here and I click on jump 10 and I jump and I keep on jumping, right? It's not going to update this text label. If I click accept, whoa, okay, what printed that like a bajillion times? Now if I jump, it is not updating the text label. Awesome. What's going on here? Okay, line 65, I clicked it once and it blasted it. And it hit my quest. Like, why did I do that 10 times too? But anyways, actually, I don't even need to run this here. I can simply run the check availability. So I'll just say quests service update quest availability. So it'll be nice and dynamic here. I need to pass in the player as well. I forgot about that. So let me try it now. I don't know why it exploded the output with like 15 million prints. Click you and click accept. I jumped. I'm jumping. It counted one jump for some reason. Okay, all right, let's just check when they like jump after not jumping. So, I don't even like know why that's not. So I do this, right? And I jump. Oh wait, something's like really up with the checking when the player is jump logic. It's only doing one. So if I click abort, I clicked abort and it is not aborting the quest. So let's check with the UI controller here. What's going on? Oh, I'm not updating the UI. That's right. I'm just gonna move this to the end here so it'll update regardless. And once it does, we'll reset the progress of the quest unless there's like a special case. So right here we'd reset the value, the progress of the quest right here, right? What tasks do, we're gonna get their completed to equal to 0. Now, if you have any special case here where it's like, it needs to be what's it called? If it's like a certain type of quest, then you would change it here. But in this case, all of it is simply just for jumping, right? 10 times. But if it's collecting an item or doing a certain action, right? You would change it there. So I do this, click jump, and I accept the quest, and I jump right here whenever it'll jump because it's like really weird when calculating the jumping or whatever. I forgot that happened, right? Now I can open up this and I can click abort and it sets it back to accept, but it doesn't update the quest UI here. So let's actually print out the quest here. Or no, actually I need to print out this. Just like that. So it'll show me what it'll look like to see if it actually resets the data or not. Let's do this, accept it, and then let's see here. I can jump. All right, let's take one, right? I abort it. It prints it out 4 times for some reason. And it has indeed oh, wait. Why is there one called completed? I thought current, not completed. I think that was the issue. Okay, accept it, and then hopefully get it to count a jump. I don't even know how it's calculating the jumps or not, but It's weird. Okay, now I click abort and it should reset it all the way down to 0. But I don't know why it's printing so many times. It's just spam the output with that. Now that our accept and abort thing is complete, let's now make the rewards. So finish quest. We're gonna make one for finishing the quest, right? Where we're gonna reward the player with everything. So we'll say function quest service on finish quest. The player obviously, and then the quest as well, which we want to get the rewards from. So we'll say local rewards will equal to, actually, hold on, we need to find the quest itself to make sure the player hasn't manually altered the rewards, but we'll fire finish quest once the, I don't know, update quest availability, or no, not there. We'll need a function to check completion every time the quest is incremented. So wherever we run update quest UI, actually no, in update keys, right? So we increment stuff, we'll run a check. We'll run finish quest or check quest. And if it is, then we'll actually like award the player. So first off, we need to get the rewards of the quest, or actually we'll award or finish. We'll do the finish quest here, and or no, we will do check completion actually. And we'll fire this every time anything is incremented, and we're going to check when it's incremented. We're going to loop through all the quests and check if all of them are good to go. So we'll do check completion. So for underscore to task in quest.tasks do, we're going to check, or actually we're going to make a control variable, which will be the number of tasks that need to complete. So local number of completion will equal to the number of quest tasks. We're going to loop through all of these and check if their current equals the goal. If it does, we're going to increase it by +1. So if toTask.current is equal to the toTask.goal, then we're going to set the number of completion to plus equal 1. Now remember, you can always do this for the different type of task. If it's not jump, then you can just change it. So if it's say like collect a book, right? Then if that collect book boolean is equal to true, then you just check that here. You'd always like go through the types of the quest and check that. In this case, there's only one, so I'm just going to do that one thing here. Now we're going to do if number of completion, what am I doing? Number of completion should be equal to 0. Number of completion is equal to the number of quest service player. Actually, I should probably pass in. Oh no, it is good. Never mind. I don't even need to do this. If it's number of quest tasks, then we're going to award the player. So we're gonna loop all the way. So for underscore reward in quest dot rewards do. And we're gonna get their data here. Actually, get the player's data right here. So let me go find where I can just copy and paste it right there. Get local profile. If profile, then we're gonna loop through all the rewards and add it to the player. So if profile dot data, and let me actually just get the key here that we're going to use. Profile data key, then profile dot data key will plus equal the reward. And once that is all completed, we're going to set the thing to equal false. Quest.status.completed will equal to true, and we're going to set the other ones to all be false. So if it's completed, that means active will equal false. All right, and that's pretty much it. We can run the update quest UI here too at the end of this, and that should reward the player. It's gonna loop through all the tasks, check if they all equal each other. If they do, then we're gonna get their profile, loop through all the rewards, add it to their thing, and then set it to be complete equal to true, so that way they can't use it again. And there we go. It should be good to go here. So if I now just gonna wait for the thing to go, open the thing, click on jump 10 times. It'll say jump a total of 10 times. And I have the task thing here, the accept button, and the rewards. So 10 gems, XP 50. So I click accept. It's now going to say accepted quest, and I can abort it too, and I'll be able to take it again in case I abort. So I'll close this, open it, it'll still be there. So just jump a total of 10 times, but for some reason it changed to accept when the thing increased there for some reason, unless I, whoa, okay, what in the heck is going on? Yeah, that was strange. So I ran update keys, so go to quest service here, and we run update keys, and it'll increase it, where it'll then say check quest availability. Yeah, I don't even need to include this here. Never mind. This is useless. I don't know why I needed to put this there. the quest is already active. It doesn't need to check availability. Available quests won't get their progress incremented. So I do this and I accept the quest, and now I just like try to jump. Now it removed the freaking the thing there for some reason. What? So where is it? Let's see if I can find where in the UI it does that. So in our update quest list, yeah, if quest.status not available or quest.status not active, then we do this. But then, oh, I see the issue. I see the issue. We only need to run this. Let's put it in this loop here. Okay, and there we go. So then it shouldn't. I accept it and I do the jump, and it's deleting the thing here. Okay, if I take this portion out here, update quest availability is ran here and here, but do I need it to appear here? Because what update quest availability does is it sets available to equal met requirements, but I need to change it so that it'll only do it if it's not active. So if not quest.status.active or not quest.status.completed, then will we set active to be the requirements. So I'll leave this included here, but where to go? What? I'm being lost. Right here, right? It'll only do that then. So that should work hopefully very well now. So if I open this, click you, accept it, and hopefully get the jump thing to work, which it's, yeah, it's still removing the thing every time I add one to the jump counter. Oh, I'm moving for the and maybe that will fix it. I accept it. Yeah, it's still deleting the thing for some reason. Okay, let's try this. So if quest.status.active is equal to false and quest.status.completed is equal to false, then we'll do it, and maybe that'll change it. So if I do this right, I click accept and I get a jump in. Yeah, it's still, well, let me see if it's deleting it actually. Well, it should be deleting it because I don't have anything that says set it invisible, but just gotta make sure. Yeah, it is removing it completely. So it's still not working. Like, what could be the issue? I actually don't know. Alright, I just changed it to automatically check if it's available because update ability already checks if it's available, and I think that might be the reason why it's causing an issue with this. So I click accept and it's still freaking, like, even after I do that. So let me see what happens. I'm gonna have it print out the quest thing, right? So when we increment it, I'm going to print out the quest to see what's going on here. So the status is active, it's available, and it is completed. Well, the status is active, right? It's true, but then why does it disappear? That's the thing. So I don't know. I don't get why it's not. So when we send get data, we're returning can send in quest service player, and then here it's updating quest service player. So this is what should be sent, right? So what if I open the thing in our quest client controller? It's printing in the init, which is fine, but I now want it to print every time it's updated, and I'll take the print out. So let me see what the client is actually receiving. So here they have jump 10 and they see its status is active, right? So let me jump a couple times. Here we go, new data sent in, jump 10. The status is now completed. So it's instantly completed. So let's see here. This is the check completion, right? And I'm doing it every time we increment it. Yeah, I know the issue. It's a dictionary, not a thing. So number of quest.tasks isn't gonna work. I have to loop through it and automatically provide in a thing. So for underscore in quests.tasks do, we're gonna make a control will equal to 0, and we're going to say control will plus equal 1. So we're going to loop through every child inside of it, and we're going to set this to be equal to the control. Or just to actually save some time, I will just take this value right here and I'll put it in, but I'll only increment the number of completion if we get our match here. So now this shouldn't automatically mark it as completed. So if I get a jump, there we go, perfect. So actually let's check the flag of it right now. The jump 10 status is currently active, right? But it's like, I don't know how like the jump thing is like calculated properly or not, but there's probably a better way to calculate when the player jumps. So there we go. The thing has been marked as completed, and I have been awarded the stuff here, I think. So on our status here, it has been marked as completed. So if I do this, I mean, clicking the abort button isn't gonna, what? Okay, that's not good. That should not happen. I gotta make it so that when we update the quest list, and then else if quest dot status dot completed, then we're gonna say accept dot parent will equal to main accept dot visible will equal to false, and then abort dot parent will equal to main, and then abort dot visible will equal to false. So now they can't take the quest back. And then you could also create a callback for when the quest is completed. But in this case, when our quest is completed, it's right here, right? This is when the quest is completed. So I can add a print quest completed. And just for a little more visual points here, we can, what's it called? We can reset all of the things here. So if not quest dot status dot completed, then we'll do this. So now, and also just to make things easier, I don't want to, I'm gonna have the goal just be once. I call it jump one, just because, like, you know, I don't want to have to again. So now I can open this and say jump once, accept, and then try to, there we go. It says quest completed. And I can now go over to the description, and I can say details.description.text quest completed, the smiley face. And did the rewards label disappear too? I don't remember. Hopefully this doesn't disappear. Quest completed. Perfect. And then if there's another quest, which I'll go on ahead and do right now, which will be to jump. So this one will be called jump 10. So it'll be jump 10 times. And the goal, now I could make a prerequisite here where it'll only, actually I could do the prerequisite part right now if I wanted to, but this video has already been like what? I mean, how long has this video been? It's already been 3 hours. What? For quest system? Okay, so here we go. We got jump 10. I can accept it. And then I can also go to jump 10 and accept it. So now I have jump 1, jump 10. If I jump once, then jump one's completed. And here, if I try to do this, I'm gonna cry. But yeah, that's the quest system all done. And then if you wanted to, you could save it. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm too lazy and I'm too tired. That was the quest system. I will, as a matter of fact, I will make the RBXM file, put it in my Google Drive. I'm not too of how I made this quest system. I kind of just did this based on the laziest way I could. It works. There's still like a couple super duper tiny bug fixes that can be made, but if this was an actual like commission, I would code all the details, but I'm mainly here to showcase the quest mechanics itself. And I was planning to do this in Fusion, but I don't really want to do that. I'll do it later. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.